Yo, welcome into the Fantasy BS show. This is episode 11. This is November 9th. We are recording on a Thursday, so we got a good football game. We got your host today. We got Smitty, we got Cassidy, and we've got a special guest. We have the Commish. What's up, Commish?
Look, I'm thrilled to join you fellas. Thanks for having me today. These first 10 episodes have been a huge success, and I absolutely love tuning in. You guys are bringing great analysis. Love hearing about our league, and, couldn't be more thrilled to be here. So thank you.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
we've been trying to get a guest on for a little bit, and Commish, I know you didn't want to be the first one, but it's just the way it worked out. Cassidy, how you doing, dude? How you rolling?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been freaking busy, so I don't feel like I'm just extra prepared for this podcast, but sometimes these podcasts are best when we just jump in and fly off the cuff.
Just like that. Yep. Got the music going finally.
Off the cuff intro drops. Perfect.
Yep. So this is awesome. Smitty, Carl, how you doing, dude?
And I'm all right. I'm excited to watch tonight's game, the Bad Bitch versus Bryce, the number one pick of the draft. We'll see how that goes. Going to look a little awkward probably, but should be exciting for somebody. Their parents probably.
Dude, that dude's a bad bitch, dude. I literally, so we had that bet, by the way, so cheers on my quarterback bet.
Oh!
So we're going to do this one smoking motherfucking wet this entire time, boys. But that is one bad bitch. Hold on a second. I got water on my computer.
Ooh!
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can't use my mouse. Hold on.
The thing about these water bets is once you pay them live, you got to realize there's shit around you, and that's what I had to. That's what I had to learn from the DFS pod.
This is Brian's initiation into the water bet.
Oh my god, this is the first one. That just went everywhere all over my computer.
It goes everywhere. It's so freaking fresh.
Woo! All right, but I am still soaking wet, so let's get at this, boys. What are your thoughts of week 9, boys? Tell me about it. And I'll go with you too.
Start by
All right, Carl. Let it rip, Carl.
All right, I just want to say RIP to Cameron Akers, the only jersey I have with the actual signature. Dude, I don't know if we can find it. Well, there we go, Mr. Cameron here. Dude, the minute he replaced, the minute he, visually on the field replaced Todd Gurley, my instant thought was, Wonder Kid. Wonder Kid. This guy's going to be amazing for us. Talking about the LA Rams. And, he was until he got his first Achilles injury. Now he gets traded off to the Minnesota Vikings, reunite with Kevin O'Connell, and gets it injured again. Jesus Christ. This kid can't catch a freaking break.
No.
So,
It's so friggin' sad, man. I was actually hoping he came back, but I got a bet with somebody in my other league that people can't come back from Achilles injuries. So Deontay Foreman is the only one, period. Tony, what's your thoughts of the week, man? Hit me up with something funny.
Well, I don't know if this is funny, but I get excited this time of year because we're at that halfway point. And when I watch the NFL and I think about the product it puts out there, we get to see a lot of first half teams. But because of that, there are also a lot of second half teams. I think we're going to see change going from here on out. We're going to see some of those teams that had question marks really start to get rid of those. We're going to see other teams really start to make a run for these playoffs. And I'm just excited to watch it play out. When we talk about some of our favorite teams today, I think that's going to come out. Thinking about teams like Detroit, teams like Dallas, but also teams like Jacksonville and which direction that they can potentially be moving. So just really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. And again, it's been a great season, but it's been a crazy one.
100%, man. This week 9 was wild. I mean, it was just wild with plays, with different things, but there are some teams that are separating right now. And Cassidy, I know you want to talk about one of them that's on my mind as well. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts and who might be separating coming into the conversation here in the NFL.
Sure. Yeah, you can see that in the document. So just my takeaways from the week. I'll let you give the more detailed analysis, but I think Baltimore is sneaky one of the best teams in the league. I think everyone knows that they're good, but they're really starting to heat up, and it's their defense, man. They're not allowing anything And it's like all they have to do is play solid football, which that's how they like to play. They like to play tough and keep the ball on the ground and just stop the other team. And if they can do that, they're going to separate. And I kind of think, and I don't want to think this because I've been a believer, but Miami is kind of sneaky, not very good. It's weird. Or maybe be better phrase, like they're good, but they're not great. And we want them to be great. But like just straight up fact, they haven't beaten over 500 team yet. They just not been able to beat a winning team. And that's really frustrating. So you've got that. Those are kind of a couple of my takeaways for the week.
So I want to talk about Miami then. So is the defense letting him down over there? Is it just that? So I've noticed, and I've talked a lot about the running game. You are correct. The running game is much different against teams that are over 500. But do they need a better defense? I mean, is that what's going to lose them possibly a Super Bowl run?
I think that's a part of it. That's for sure. They're letting, in terms of the Super Bowl run, yes. But I also think that their offense is more transparent than we want to believe, and people are kind of figuring it out. Maybe getting A-Chain back will make a difference, if it's not just Mostert back there, and you can open up some more play action. But people are figuring it out. And so, McDaniels may not be the offensive genius that we think he is, or he just hasn't fully hit his stride.
I think he hasn't hit his stride yet. Carl, what's your take on that?
Yeah, fuck Miami, because that's basically a 49er tree, baby.
Your hatred of the 49ers is just epic. They're my rival too, and I just can't hate them the way that you do. They play good football.
No, I love them.
Dude, they're fantastic. They're fun to watch. But Tony, I'm going to hit you with this. So when we talk, just who's the best team, who's entering conversations, we got the Eagles with one loss. Guys, we've got the Steelers at 5-3 right now. And that's a well-coached football team. It ain't going anywhere, but let's just give them props for being 5-3 with how crappy they have actually played the entire year. We've got the Browns at 5-3. What if Deshaun Watson can heal his arm up and throw a little bit? 49ers 5-3. Like that's a better team than 5-3. So Tony, you're on the NFC West side. I know you want to talk about some Cardinals, but hit us with the 49ers at 5-3 against Steelers Browns 5-3.
When I think of favorite and best teams, I really do think about the Arizona Cardinals in 2024. So we'll be back to visit this one. But when we talk about all these 5-3 teams, you don't always see teams that are the best team in the NFL, and you're not going to see squads that can win a Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they can't win a Super Bowl. But what's exciting about teams like that is they can bring a defense and they can play spoiler. And that matters so much. When we talk about teams like Miami, I don't think it's Miami's defense that necessarily lets them down like you were talking earlier. I think it's all about their susceptibility to being beat by a good physical defense. And a team like Miami, when they come up against a Pittsburgh sneaking into the playoffs, when they come up against a Cleveland that has a developed D, those are teams that are going to be tough matchups. And it's tough to imagine a team like that stacking those wins together during the playoffs. Now, when we talk about a team that is going to stack wins, I'm excited to see Detroit Lions in these playoffs. They're 6-2. I think they're a balanced team. They don't have the best defense on the field, but with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs combining together once again, they are going to run over people for the rest of this season. Sam Laporta, he is a young phenom tight end. Basically, of course, a wide receiver. And then with the sun god on the outside, I love this team. And the reason I want to bring up the Lions is just taking a look at their schedule. They're going to be playing the Chargers, the Bears, the Packers, the Saints, the Bears again, Denver, Minnesota, Dallas, and Minnesota.
That's
there
crazy.
Are a lot of wins, and that's the type of schedule where your offense can really just continue to perfect itself. So I think they're going to hit the playoffs hot. I'm excited to see that Dallas matchup there near the end of the season. That'll be really the barometer for them. And I think I think it leads them towards the playoffs and gives them a real opportunity. And that's what we're looking for out of the best teams in the NFL.
For sure.
Yeah. That is an incredible take. I'm so glad we finally got you on here, Commish, because I have publicly said multiple times that I believe the Detroit Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. And, before we move on, I want to hear from Smitty and Cassidy on the Detroit Lions real quick. So we have David Montgomery coming back that the Commish just talked about. What is the split in the backfield when that happens, when both of them are healthy? And I'm going to start with you, Smitty.
I actually don't think there'll be a split. I think Jameer Gibbs will kind of be like a wide receiver in a way, and Monty will just be the ground and pound guy, as he is usually. And
What about you?
I'm very excited for Gibbs in this. I'm just very excited for him.
This is going to be an epic backfield, I think. But Cassie, what do you think the split is?
Yeah, right. I think the conversation is kind of circled around, well, is Jameer Gibbs just going to go back to the role he had before Montgomery's injury, or has he earned more playing time, or is it going to be the Jameer Gibbs show? And I think the truth is that it's going to be a little bit of a balance of all of that. Like, I do think we're going to go back to a very similar usage that we saw before in terms of the roles that they play, but I do think that Jameer Gibbs has earned himself a couple more special looks, and we might see him, spread out wide or used in some more like screens and in some deep targets and stuff, like what we kind of were hoping the whole season. So I think it's going to be better for Gibbs moving forward than it was before the Montgomery injury, but I do think Montgomery walks back into the role that he had before, and he's going to be great as well.
He was too efficient at it. He was.
Yeah. He was. My take, 70-30 split, Montgomery on the 70 side. But what's going to get real interesting to me is I want to know how many times they use two RBs on their offense. And I think that that's going to be a lot. I think they're going to really work into that with two backs on the field at all time. So before we get on the next segment, real quick, I'm going to ask you guys, who is the best team in football? Commish.
I just said it. I love Detroit this year. They're fun to watch, and I'm happy to put my support behind them. And I think this year there is gray area. There are a number of teams that contest here.
Smitty, who's best team in football?
So earlier I said I want the Jets to win the Super Bowl, and I still do. And I hope they figure it out. But if they do not figure it out, if A-Rod doesn't come in time, then my number 2 is Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you for mentioning them, Commissioner. I love them. I love the way they're playing offensively and defensively, and I need that complete situation.
Man, Jacksonville number 2, that's crazy. Cassidy, who's the best team in football? You've changed a couple times.
I have changed a couple times, but I think I'm going to stick with my last take, even based on what we saw 2 weeks ago. But I still think we're trying to find reasons why it's not the Chiefs, and it's still the Chiefs. I still think that the reigning Super Bowl champions are the best, but it's not for the same reasons we used to think. It's not just because Mahomes is head and shoulders above all the other guys, which he is. But it's because now they're the whole package, man. They've got the defense to go along with that, and they're able to adapt and play differently than what we've seen. And they for sure can go the whole way again.
Oh, sure.
I agree with all your takes, but I will say that the best team in football doesn't always win the Super Bowl. I think Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl, but I think the best team in football right now is the Baltimore Ravens because Lamar Jackson is just figuring out the offense, and the running game is the most. I mean, it's so efficient, but Lamar Jackson is going to start throwing the football. So, those are 4 or 5 really good teams. But like we always say, you can win on any Sunday. So let's talk about let's talk about some favorite plays of the week. There was actually some crazy ones, and it started literally like within 3 minutes of the first quarter. I'm texting you boys, dibs on that. So let's go with you, Smitty. What was your favorite play last week of all the insanity?
So we have this 3rd string, maybe even 4th string running back on the Houston Texans, Dare Agumbawale, going out there as the backup kicker. He went out there and kicked a 29-yard field goal. What the hell? And then
it wasn't.
Oh my God!
It wasn't even the field goal, Carl. Carl, it wasn't even the field goal. Did you see what he was doing? No, when he was kicking the ball to the other team afterwards, man, he was drilling that thing in the end zone for touchbacks.
He put that thing in the end zone, man. I love to see that after the field goal. That was just fantastic.
Dude, he pounded it. And Cassidy, did you know that his sister hit the game-winning shot in an NCAA tournament to win the tournament? I heard that's what the announcers were saying. It was the most feel-good story of the week. Yeah, I was mad. I was mad Smitty took that one, man. That was awesome. But Cass, what was your favorite play of the week?
Dude, Smitty called that right away. He was not going to let that one escape him and fall to one of us. Dude, my favorite play of the week happened super early in the day as well. I mean, like almost right out of the gate. Kansas City, strip sack of Tyreek Hill. That play was crazy if you guys didn't see it. Tyreek catches the ball, and then Trent McDuffie of the Chiefs strips it out of his hands, but it falls to the ground, and then Trent McDuffie picks it up, and they scoop it laterally, and so it turns into like a strip sack, weird fumble recovery, lateral play for a defensive touchdown. It was just madness.
It was incredible. And I'm going to give you that one, even though I texted you in the group text the second it happened. Dibs on that one for the pod. But dude, that got the week going good. I mean, Commish, did you see that play, Tony?
I did see that play, and I like to think about risk, and risk is a big part of football as it is life. And when we watch football, we occasionally get to see some of these laterals, and it really is a land of opportunity for the NFL. I'm not saying that coaches should go out there and work towards it, but there is opportunity with the lateral play. And the way that whole thing worked out, it was beautiful. It was on the spot. They were ready, and just like that, Kansas City took 7. So I absolutely love the play. And when I look back at this last week, I gotta go with my boy Astro. He flew all the way from Phoenix, visited the moon on the way probably, took himself over to Minnesota in a trade, and started, well, I shouldn't say, he didn't even start the game, right? He started that game on the bench, came in for the Vikings, found a win, didn't even know what he was doing really, didn't know the play calls, didn't know the cadence, he had to work it all up from scratch. So my favorite play was the Josh Dobbs 19-yard scamper for a touchdown. Why? Because I think everybody needs hope sometimes, and the Vikings fans, they received hope. And not only that, but the rest of their fantasy season does remain relevant because Dobbs, he's a top 10 QB, fellas.
Dobbs might be my favorite player in the NFL right now just because of that. But that was absolutely amazing. So mine, when I looked at it, it was just, you don't see a guy get 2 pick sixes to the house too much. I thought it was an absolutely amazing one. So Kenny Moore, 2 picks, right to the house. His whole family was in the building. They just show his whole family going off, and I'm like, man, what a game to get 2 picks. But listen to these plays, guys. I mean, the Kansas City one got it going within 5 minutes of football. I was jumping up. I was dialed in for football this week. This was honestly my favorite week of the year so far. Anything else in any other weeks remind you of a better week than this, Carl?
Yeah, last week when Jameer went off in front of everybody.
Absolutely, that's hilarious. So one thing I want to go.
Swift went off in front of everybody again after we were questioning: is it going to be Gainwell? Is it going to be what's the other fool? It doesn't even matter. But Swift, oh my god, I had 2 great weeks.
Wasn't he on your bench that week?
No, he wasn't. He had Scotty's tripping.
Yeah, and by the way, if anyone's listening to this, we're not going over news and notes and everything. We did that on the other thing. We got right into it. I forgot to say that. But when we go over favorite plays of the week, I got to go over a ball don't lie, man. We have it 3 weeks in a row. So Velus Jones fumbled, ruled an incomplete pass, and the next damn play, guess what happens? Interception, turnover, the ball don't lie. It's going to tell you where it wants to go. Now, Smitty, hit me with some trades. You got any trades? Anything popping in our league for trades? We didn't talk about that last night.
Man. We got a big one. All right, so I'm trying to remember his team name. Is it? We'll just say Bryce T. Bryce T. He sends the Chris Olave and Derek Carr stack to Hillary, and in return he receives Big Russ Wilson and Mike Evans. So immediately I thought Bryce T. got the 2 best players in the trade, and Hillary got a fun little stack. What do y'all think?
Tony.
Yeah, Smitty, I love to see trades like this. I mean, they're just they're trading players that, in their point of view, are trending either up or trending down, and it's easy to look at those guys and say Derek Carr can hardly get it done without this tight end gadget guy coming out and helping him out, right? So Yeah, but that team is also really starting to find itself, and New Orleans could very well get here into gear. And then when we talk about first halves and second halves of the season, this is Sean Payton and his first season together with Russell Wilson. So those first 8 games, they might not be prescriptive for what we're going to see out of the final 8 or 9. And really, I just love the opportunity here. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't have a strong opinion on which side of this is going to win, and that's I think what makes a great trade.
So, what are the beat writers saying up there in Denver, Cassidy, on Russ and Sean Payton and through halfway through the season?
It's the narrative has totally changed. It was really, really negative, like, coming out of the gate there, and obviously it hit its rock bottom after that game with the Dolphins. But we were reinstilled with reinvigorated with energy when we beat the Chiefs here. That was fantastic. And overall, I mean, if you look at Russ's numbers, he's not been bad. It's not been his fault. And so while I would say that overall it's maybe a little bit of a pessimistic type sentiment, it's not just like all out catastrophic disaster, like burn it down. I think that we've had some faith and some hope reinstilled.
I believe it's right in the middle. I friggin' hate Peyton. I hate Russ. I think if you take the Chiefs game out, and by the way, Patrick Mahomes, he had the flu that week, Cassidy.
Patrick Mahomes.
So Scotty let me know last night that he beat me in the playoffs without Jalen Hurts, and he's playing me this week without Jalen Hurts. You don't get to consider a victory unless you play against their best, and the flu game for Mahomes is definitely not his best. Now, Smitty, so my reaction to this trade was the complete opposite of yours. I saw the trade and I was like, fuck, I wouldn't want Russ. Why did Bryce make that trade? And immediately within like 60 seconds, Bryce sends out, I'm covering my week 13 buys on this trade. And he got Mike Evans to play against me last week. Came out with the dub, which I think he got. I don't like what he did on the trade, but he won. He covered his week 13 losses or buys. And, I mean, it's just fantastic. And I will tell you, we're going to talk about coaches of the week. And Bryce, coach of the week. Looking forward to week 13. You crushed, brother. So, who do you guys think coaches of the week is, Cassidy? I mean, what did you see? Waiver wires. You saw trades. Who popped out at you and said, you know what, that coach really crushed?
Well, you just stole it from me, so I'm just going to piggyback what you said, man. It was because of that move that I had chosen Bryce. That's a pro move, looking ahead, saying, okay, I think I've got a strong matchup or a strong lineup this week, but I've got some weaknesses I've got to be addressed in these weeks coming up, making moves to make that happen. And plus, there's just a history of building solid teams, making smart moves, fighting, even though he had a losing record to start the season. So I'm not going to try to deviate from that take, man. Bryce is my boy. I think he's the best coach in the league.
Yep, 100%. I hate it when I go up against Bryce. So who do you think your coach of the week is? Commish? You're the commish. You make the call. We do whatever the hell you want to say. Tell us.
Yeah, man. I mean, to add to, I think a Bryce, excellent player here, and I think another coach won this last week, both beating the bye and beating the person he played with, and that's our doctor, John C. John is one of our new players this year, and he is hanging out in that spot where he needs to get wins right now if he wants to make it into these playoffs. So I'm excited to see what kind of players he has on his roster. He's got a guy like Kyler Murray coming back, and he's fought through injuries. So I'm just going to give him a shout out here. John, way to get those wins. You're battling it out for those final playoff spots. And it's weeks like last week that determine whether or not you made it in. So keep it up, man.
Yeah, I tried to drop what I felt was a landmine on John Steven. He just would not take this trade. I was trying to waive DJ Moore in a really crappy matchup this week, and he wasn't having any of it. So cheers, I agree with everything. Smitty, who's your coach of the week?
It's our commish here, Tony. I mean, look, all last week he was projected to get smoked. I mean, I felt so good about the week walking into it. And not only was he projected to get smoked, he had many players on bye. So he had to pretty much start a lineup of tight ends. And I don't know what, Tony, if you can tell us exactly what you tell to your players to make them step up in your time of need, to completely whip my ass? Like, what did you tell them? So I can
You
tell
know,
my players to do that.
Carl, let me tell you this before Tony does this. So we get the Kansas City game in Germany right off the bat. And literally, we're totally messing around that Noah Gray has more points than Travis Kelce because Taylor Swift isn't there. You had to have left that game. I almost texted you to be like, sorry, bro, or congratulations, bro. You're going to crush Tony with what Kelce just did. And I can't believe you won that game, Tony. So anyway, go Tony. The timeline was great.
you know, Spitty, if
Great.
this season would demonstrate anything, it's that when I am up for a competition, I'm gonna bring you down to my level, and we're gonna slog it out. And it doesn't matter what happens this season. I'm gonna beat you by a couple points. If I'm scoring low, you're scoring lower, man. I think it's just about when you're playing me, you're in for a matchup. And these tight ends of mine, man, I like to line them up, give them a real big hard smack in the ass, and tell them to go play and have a good time out there. And it seems to work. So love it, man.
Sheesh.
What does Travis
Well
Kelsey's
done.
ass feel like? What does his ass feel like? It's got to feel good when you smack that. I mean, that dude. It's
Yeah,
what,
no,
what
that's
is
a real man's ass right there. That's a man's ass. And there was one time where I did it with two hands just because I wanted to see if I could cup the whole thing.
Oh, that's fantastic. And by the way, we have a new nickname for Travis Kelsey. So we got Buzz Lightyear for Achan, but we've got Otto Swift is now Travis Kelsey's nickname. So welcome to the show. But hey guys, let's have some fun here. Let's do a keep trade cut. I was thinking about this one last night. I thought it was funny. So we're gonna keep trade cut. Michael Jordan, the best basketball player to ever play. I don't care. Talk Kobe, talk whatever. Best basketball player. Michael Jackson, King of Pop. You cannot mess with that man. Or Mike, the Hitman Wright. Which Mike? Cassidy, which Mike are you going to keep, trade, and cut?
All right. That's wild, man. All right, look, dude. We all know the shady allegations against Michael Jackson. So without going into detail, he's getting the cut. Can't even listen to his music anymore. Now, Michael Jordan is arguably the best basketball player of all time, but he has a tremendous amount of value. So I don't know what I can get in return for him, but I'm sure it's the world. And I'm not a huge basketball guy, so I'm trading Michael Jackson. I'm sure I'm getting something great back. And then Mike the Hitman, he's my boy. You guys know me. I'm a baller in the blood. So keeping Mike the Hitman Wright.
So do you think in a trade, do you think you could take Mike Jordan and go get Jerry Rice? Do you think you get that trade
For
done?
sure. Jerry Rice isn't the GOAT.
He is for wide receivers, and that's what I love the most in this world. So who are you going to keep, trade, cut?
Man, Brian, you can get that trade done. You know, I thought I might approach this thing in a similar vein to Cassidy here, because there is that part of me that just thinks that Jackson should get cut right away. But we're gonna go and trade him. I'm gonna trade Michael Jackson on out of here. You know, he is still on the market. Well, not really. I mean, let's be real here. But
He's been canceled.
we're gonna trade this pop star. We're gonna bring in Taylor Swift because my Otto Swift is my dude, and I'm gonna win a championship with the guy this year. So we're gonna trade out one pop star for another. Ultimately, does anybody care? No, not really. They're pop stars. I'm gonna keep Mike the Hitman Wright, man. I mean that's part of why we're here. We all love the fantasy footballers. They're the reason that we're doing this here today. So I got to keep my boy as well, Cassidy. And as far as Michael Jordan, man, basketball. I mean, I put basketball up there with like superhero movies. Like,
Nice.
maybe during the playoffs you can find one that's great, but for the most part, you know.
Just admit what you're doing, Tony. You're trying to play Bachelor in fantasy and get Travis Kelsey's girlfriend on your team by trading out. That is a fantastic game plan. That is better than looking at your Week 13 buys, bro. Smitty, who are you going to keep, trade, cut?
I just want Tony to say, are you cutting Michael Jordan?
So I'm cutting Michael Jordan, man. I think he needs to know what it's like. I watched him play baseball more than I watched him play basketball. So, and that was unfortunate.
It's funny.
What? I mean, I just caught what you just said.
I know what?
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna make this real short. We're cutting the Hitman. I'm sorry. I like Andy Holloway way more. and Jason's funnier. But you know what? I'll say this though. Mike is a god on the music, so if I'm gonna just highlight music like that, I have to keep Mike Jack. I love Michael Jackson's music. I mean, I was just thinking about freaking the what's that white album, Invincible? I was just thinking about how like good that album was. And yeah, let's trade Michael Jordan. I definitely don't I don't know what I could get for him. I'm definitely not trying to target Jerry Rice, but if I can get like LeBron and Mookie Betts, that'd be sick.
Oh, you're going with Mookie Betts, man. We can start bringing up some Pearl Jam in this thing. That's a good take. So we got some Hitman love out there, and I got to tell you, I'm going to trade Michael Jackson, 100%, because I believe my Michael Jackson can maybe go get me a Mick Jagger plus a piece, and I could hang with Mick for a day, or who knows? Maybe I could get Paul McCartney in there. Maybe I got to give up a little bit, but. See, here's the thing when it comes to the Hitman and Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan. He's probably one of the top 3 favorite athletes of all time. He's got a camera going on him all the time. Do you think I want to be seen with my white ass next to him? I'm gonna make him look like a dork, man. So I'm gonna de-cool Michael Jordan. So I gotta cut him and I gotta leave him for someone else to pick up on waivers that can make him look cool because my dorky ass will not. But the Hitman, dude. We play fantasy football. All I could do is with my best friend, man. I could talk fantasy football all day. And you know what else? We go to the studio, jam, play some guitar, smoke a little weed, do whatever we want. But the bottom line is no. Oh, hell yeah. But no cameras, no anything, man. I can actually hang with my best friend, give him a hug. It'd be amazing. The Hitman's my boy. I am not getting him off my squad. So three Hitmans. So that's the draft, boys. Or I like that keep trade cut.
Keep trade cut. Yeah.
That was fun.
And as we're doing something funny, we're gonna get into some real fantasy MVPs and some fantasy and MVPs for the real NFL here. But can we take a second to appreciate the lettuce on Christian Watson? He cannot play anything on a football field. He's putting up donuts out there, but that boy's hair, man, on the back of that helmet. Ooh, that's fly. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
That deserves at least 1 point, at least.
Yeah, I just had to give a shout. As a bald man, I am jealous as hell. So Christian Watson.
Yeah, Brian, I need to interrupt here. I have not seen it because I haven't been seeing him making plays, man. So, oh, man.
Yeah, you get to see him run off the field.
Yeah, he was pimping the hair and putting up a donut on you. So let's talk some MVPs, boys. We're halfway through the season. We kind of know what teams are, and now we got to project what the players can do. But I think we know who teams are. But let's talk real MVPs for football, and we'll do fantasy second. So let's start with you, Cassidy. Who is your real MVP for football?
Dude, I can't do it in that format because honestly, I thought long and hard about this question, and for me, it's the same guy. It's Christian McCaffrey. There's no doubt about it. I mean, for fantasy, he's obviously a difference maker. Like, it's just not fair to have him on your team. He's a cheat code. But in the real NFL, dude, he's a triple threat. I mean, we know that he can run the ball. He's great in the passing game, and we haven't seen it this year, but we've seen him throw touchdown bombs before. I mean, you give that kid the ball, he's going to make magic happen. So, just real quick, and we all already know he's great and everything, but dude, he's on pace for 1,385 on the ground with 19 touchdowns. How many games has it been that he hasn't scored a touchdown in? I mean, it's insane. And he's going to catch 70 more balls for 600 more yards and 9 more touchdowns on top of that. I mean, dude, if you're Shanahan, how psyched are you to have that playmaker, on your team? So he's the dude.
It's incredible when he runs. People just aren't around him. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like you can't touch him. He actually might be a superhero in our draft later.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, Commish, who's your real MVP and what's your take on McCaffrey?
Well, I mean, my real MVP, this one goes out to Jalen Hurts and the offensive line. I know this has been a conversation in the NFL all season long. I'm going to keep this thing going. I love to see myself a classic case of arbitrage here. He's gone over to rugby. The offensive line's gone together. They did some grunt, and guess what they did? They headed right over to the NFL field, and they replicated it, and they made it happen, and they took their gains. And it's such a guaranteed play. that people are considering making rules against it. So I love a case of arbitrage, and that and the Eagles are taking care of business. They've got one loss. I'm going to give this one to Jalen Hurts. It was hard not giving them my best team today, but I like these boys out of the NFC coming and going for a championship this year. So between the Eagles and Detroit, I just love what they're doing. But yeah, the Eagles, the tush push, I just love it. It's what's proven to be an unbeatable play, and it counts as innovation.
Dude, Jalen Hurts squats an insane amount. I don't even know the number, but it's like 700. I mean, it's like legit. That boy is great. So Smitty, let's talk Jalen Hurts and let's talk a little 69er with McCaffrey. What's your thoughts?
I will leave McCaffrey alone, so I won't hate for 8 minutes straight.
Yeah.
But if I do want to talk about Jalen Hurts, I'm right there with you, Tony. I kind of wish I had them as my favorite team, but I just don't yet. Because they should have easily won that Super Bowl, and the fact that they didn't, this tells me that there's something that's going to fall apart when they need it most. So right now, it's a fun ride. We're just going to enjoy the season. When preseason or when the postseason happens, we'll see. I am enjoying the tush push. I do love how it's an unbeatable play and very invincible move. And I love how I'm seeing other teams try it and look stupid, including the Rams, including the Steelers, including like every goofy-looking team. Hey, we all look dumb doing it, so it's great. When you have a play that only you can do that looks great, I applaud. Shout out to the Eagles.
Yeah, you boys. I mean, you're talking cheat codes. I mean, Jalen Hurts. We'll call him a cheat code. He is legitimately.
Absolutely.
I don't know. He's everything. He's everything. I mean, what? I got him on my squad. 15 rushes, sometimes 17 rushes. I mean, he's legitimately everything. Like, I need someone to throw this dude the football so he can become a receiver. But yeah, I think all these guys, they're MVPs. I have to, so I can stay to the brand of me, call out a wide receiver as the real NFL MVP. Why is no one talking about Tyreek Hill possibly being an MVP? This dude right now, halfway through the season, has 69 receptions for 1,076 yards and 8 touchdowns. So he flat out came out and said before the season started, I'm going for 2,000. He is on pace to go for over 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, and almost 140 receptions. He's a cheat code as well. You can't guard him. You cannot guard him on a football field. So Tyreek Hill, you guys, I mean, do you think he could possibly, is this year a wide receiver and get an MVP? And if anyone wants to talk Marvin Harrison Jr., is this year that a wide receiver and get a Heisman? Carl.
Yeah, both. Yes. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say in the NFL, Marvin Harrison, yes, he looks great, but in the NFL, I kind of want C.J. Stroud to have it, if I'm being honest. Or Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
If we're talking about a receiver at all, I want Puka to have it, but I mean, he's a rookie. So, yeah. So is Stroud. I just realized I'm talking about rookies. Anyways, yeah, I think if anyone could, as a veteran, I'm pretty sure it's Tyreek or CMC, like you mentioned, Cassie. So
now, Carl,
great picks.
Is C.J. Stroud your guy?
As far as rookie player of the year.
The MVP this year.
We're talking MVPs here, bro. Where are you going?
My fault. Yeah, I was mentally lost for a minute. We got to shout out Mark Davis and his stupid ass haircut, because despite how dumb his haircut looks, I have got to say, getting rid of the GM whose name I don't even know, and getting rid of I can't remember the Raiders' coach name, Josh McDaniels. While he's outside with his children trick-or-treating, he gets a phone call from freaking Mark Davis saying, "You done?" Ha! Ha! Adios, amigo. Hey. And the great thing about this is that they immediately pulled out Aiden O'Connell, the rookie we all know and love. They sat Jimmy L down, and they got themselves a W. So this was fantastic.
Yeah, that was rad.
I mean, just MVP in 1 week. Shout out to Mark Davis' haircut.
That's actually a freaking incredible take. So, Cassidy, we already got your fantasy MVP. Boys, who's just your fantasy MVP? Straight up, Commish. Who you got? This one's going to be fun. I got a feeling.
I've got a fantasy MVP for now. Travis Etienne is a guy this year that I was hesitant on. I think I listened to some of the conversation about what a young guy like Tank come in and really start to take away those gold line carries and take away that value and really when I look at the offense for Jacksonville and when I watch these games, I think Travis has been such a big part of them moving the ball, getting those first downs. He's tracking for over 50 receptions this year with something like, I think he'll be in that 65, 70 target range. He's looking at over 1,000 yards rushing. I do believe he'll end up in that 1,200 yard range. But he does have a very different schedule on this second half of the year. So I think that's why I like to talk about him as the MVP for now. He's going to be playing against San Francisco next week. He's coming up against Tennessee. He's got teams like Cleveland, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and I think that Travis Etienne is how the Jags are going to go. If he can keep it up during this type of run against these defenses as a player, then I think that's what takes Jacksonville beyond week 1 in the playoffs.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Fantastic. I'm going to be quick on my fantasy MVPs. It's Joshua Dobbs, QB 10. Don't need to say anything else about that. Raheem the Dream, RB number 2 in our league. Don't need to say anything else about that. Carl, who's yours?
Taysom Hill. He's been such a cool play at tight end. I mean, he throws the ball, he catches the ball, and he runs it, and that's in your tight end spot? Well, please. Give him the award right now.
Bro, when he started going off, it was the game against me.
Of course.
Dude, it was that
You
was
have
a
like
rough
the
week,
tight
but
end
I
curse,
agree. Dude, yeah, I got to see who I'm playing in tight end and put them in our DFS
Totally.
podcast in a second.
It's crazy.
If I could go out, guys, and if I could have a beer with 2 guys this weekend, it would be Taysom Hill and it would be Dare. It'd be these 2 guys because they're doing it however it needs to get done, and they're bringing their teams to wins. And to be fair, those guys play tougher, work harder, practice harder. I mean, those are the type of guys that just do it from beginning to end, and they're what make a locker room. Just love that pick, Smitty.
Hey, Commish, is your wife watching you? Can anybody see you? Because, dude, you are intense, and I love it. You're like statistically intense.
You can show her the podcast.
I don't think anybody's watching me
She'll
right
love
now. But enjoying this nice day outside for sure.
Oh, it's hilarious. So welcome back to let's just jump in and welcome back to fantasy football. Let's get this rolling here, boys. So real quick, welcome back to fantasy football. Usually I'll ask you boys first, give your response. Mine came straight through. You're not taking him. He hasn't even played a game yet. Welcome back, K1. Kyler friggin' Murray. I am telling you right now, I'm over this tank for Caleb Williams. We have a quarterback. We have a great quarterback. Kyler Murray is good on the football field. And you know who sucks? The damn coach, Cliff the Whiff. He was horrific. He's not a mentor. Kyler needed a mentor. He's got one now, but you know what he's got? He's got a defensive coach that is going to finally teach him what defenses are trying to do against him. And it's going to be amazing. Welcome back, K1. I'm pumped. And by the way, for a team that would get the #1 pick right now, there is buzz going on in this city about our football team. And it's not that it's great, but we feel and we know where it's going. So welcome back to Fantasy Football. Cassidy, who you got?
Yeah, man.
Hold on, real quick, I just want to remind you that the new Call of Duty does come out tonight, so how excited are we?
Does it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit. I kind of want to play the shit, like, if I'm being honest. But, yeah, we'll see how good he is.
You gonna be playing with Kyler?
Oh,
Oh, wow. That'd be a dream, so I could talk shit to him. Aaron Donald scared you in the playoffs, buddy. Oh,
Nah,
yeah.
he's contractually obligated to watch tape, so he's not gonna be on the Call of Duty.
Oh, good. Smart move.
So, Cass, who you want to welcome back?
Yeah, I like that you phrased it that way. Welcome back. I would like to welcome back Johan Dotson. because that's somebody that we were super high on in the offseason, and it was just so disappointing for the first half of the season. And then when he had a good game 2 weeks ago, I was excited, but I didn't want to believe it. But then last week, dude, that touchdown, if you didn't see it, like this makes me want to like give a little shout out to like Ron Rivera as being like he's like Arthur Smith Light, you know? It's like he's doing shit with his players that we don't understand, and it makes us so mad. But when you see Johan Dotson go out and make this like, 50-yard receiving touchdown to double coverage, diving for the ball, you're like, yeah, you should be giving the ball to that guy, the guy that you drafted in the first round, and they can make plays like that. But I think that he's seen it. The cat's out of the bag. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. So let's welcome Johan Dotson back into our lineups.
Man, I was so big on him. I love that guy. I had to trade him for friggin' Mac Jones. But yeah, he looks incredible. So who you want to welcome back, Commish?
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to welcome back Jahan Dotson to my roster because you were up for that trade and I needed to make a move. So thrilled to have him in our league of record, and he is truly welcome back. But I'd like to welcome Pete Mitchell, Baltimore Raven. I think that's a kid who went out there and he earned himself touches last weekend. He went out there and watching through his game tape, I didn't get to see a lot of that game live, but watching through his game tape and seeing the way in that second quarter he railed off run after run after run, he earned the opportunity to go out there and make those big plays. He earned the opportunity to get out there and get himself a touchdown. And so while we welcome him, it's hard to say what kind of player he's going to be this season. He's going to receive touches. He'll receive more touches this weekend than he had the rest of the season. But we welcome him to fantasy football here because we welcome him to relevance, which means Justice Hill. It's a guy that gets impacted suddenly. I think Gus Bus, he's going to keep on playing. He's going to be moving forward. But suddenly we're going to have this Hill versus Mitchell conversation. That means Mitchell's in the fantasy world, and it looks like he's a small dude that's ready to make some plays. So I hope we continue to see this guy get at least 10 touches in a game. It's going to be exciting. Welcome to fantasy football, Keaton Mitchell.
I love that take. And when you shot that through on the Google Doc, I was like, hell yeah. So I've got my notes in order of what I was watching and what I wanted to talk about while I was watching the game. Number 3 says Gus Bus and what that really means for Smitty's team. Then down here at number 12, cross off Gus Bus and what that means for Smitty's team. So Smitty, what's your take?
Hey, you know what? I'm okay with it. Nothing wrong with a little competition. Maybe competition is what makes Gus Bus step up and get 4 TDs in the game.
He's got goal line. He definitely does. Yeah.
Now it's only his position to lose, so let's see what happens.
I love it. So who are you welcoming in?
All right, so I forgot. When I typed it in, I completely forgot that I talked about this guy quite a bit in the last pod, but I'm really just super freaking excited for Kyle Phillips on the Tennessee Titans. He's not necessarily truly welcomed into fantasy. He's not even really breaking out, but last offseason he had, or it was even the offseason before where it was last. Anyways, he had a lot of hype saying, wow, this guy's really like showing up in camp and he might like quietly be the 2 next to Burks in them. And I'm like, what? Really? This Kyle Phillips guy? And I followed that close enough to like buy in. And it simply did not happen for him at all last year. He probably had one decent game and then I think he was injured, but it was disappointing just hearing all that hype. This week, or the Thursday night game last week, he finally started like getting real usage from Will Levis. And that excited me to the point where I'm thinking, oh my God, these two were definitely running with the 2s, Will Levis and Kyle Phillips. And they probably developed like a little backup role type of rapport while Tannehill was sneaking it up for Hopkins and whoever the hell else. Anyways, I'm just happy that Kyle Phillips, a guy whose train I decided to hop on, is now starting to leave the station. And I'm hoping to God that this is a wide receiver 3 flex play towards the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see.
Cassidy, this is what I love about Smitty when we do this podcast, is he takes a segment to welcome somebody in and decides to just call a shot like Babe Ruth, like, No, we'll welcome him in
That's
later.
what he does.
Dude,
That's how he rolls, dog.
Tell you what, dude, you are not afraid to give a damn opinion, dude. So, Cass, you welcome him in anybody this week? Anybody out
Nobody
there?
else besides who we talked about earlier.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, why don't you get into your Beach Boys? Let's find some of these gems. By the way, Beach Boy last week, you crushed that. I cannot friggin' believe that Tank Dell did that. And I wish you two did that water bet, and you would have lost with the wide receiver 3.
Well,
dude.
Yep.
Before you say who your Beach Boy is, I just want to say Tank Dell is officially no longer considered a Beach Boy the rest of the year.
No,
Who you got?
that's totally fair. And you know what? My whole point was I think we considered him an every week starter, but then he hadn't done anything forever. You know, I could have gone Noah Brown as the Beach Boy. That would have worked out too, but it's pretty wild that here we had a water bet. We've never seen anything like this. We have a water bet between 2 wide receiver 2/3 types, and the loser had 30 points. That's crazy.
And I was going to do Jonnu Smith last week, and I pivoted off.
Yeah. All right.
Because of that one lucky touchdown in the last freaking minute. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Really
that was incredible. By the way, one of the runners up for plays of the week, Cass, was that touchdown to Tank Dell.
Oh, yeah.
And the boy that threw it just sits like this, man. It was epic. That thing is absolutely.
I liked Noah Brown's
real.
like freaking stiff arm touchdown, dude. He had that 75-yard, touchdown down the sideline, and he just like fucking stiff armed a guy. Sorry if this is a family friendly podcast, but he just stiff armed a guy to get in the end zone. That was like you don't expect things from wide receiver 4s like that. That was crazy.
We got off the family podcast, probably episode 130 seconds.
Sorry
in,
about all that.
Commish, who do you want to roll with your Beach Boy?
I haven't given mine yet. We got sidetracked.
Oh yeah.
So this week I actually do have a Beach Boy for you guys. So I think that this week you've not been wanting to play him. He's probably on the waiver wires, but I think you can take Antonio Gibson and throw him into your lineup this week. His usage has been going up. Last week he only had 6 carries, but he turned that into 30 yards. But he caught all 5 of his targets. He got 42 more yards on that. And I think there's a decent chance he finds the end zone against Seattle. So if it's desperate with these bye weeks, I think you can pick Gibby up off the waivers, plug him in, and you're going to be all right.
So I paid up for Gibson in this league.
Great, let's start him.
I'm looking at a matchup right now because I'm seeing what you're seeing and wanted him as my Beach Boy, but you took him. I am seriously considering starting Antonio Gibson possibly over DJ Morgan.
Very interesting.
And that would be if London doesn't play. That's how much I know. That's how much I believe in your Beach Boy. Commish, who is your Beach Boy, and what do you think about Cass?
I mean, forgive me, but did you say the football team, the Commanders, are they playing the Seahawks this weekend?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the Seahawks suck, man, and this is I'm an NFC West team here, so I love to hate on the Seahawks anyways. They come, they go pack it down here in Arizona. They dress looking like a bunch of weird neon green idiots, but shout out to all our Seahawks listeners out there.
They have a very.
But the reason I want to bring up the Seahawks is doing a little Keaton Mitchell tape study last week, and just how awful they are at tackling players right now. They could not make a tackle if their life depended on him. There's a great opportunity for after yards and after contact here for Antonio Gibson. So I love the choice. And, when it comes, Cassie, I'm sorry, one more name on your player, one more time on your player.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, that was so it was Antonio. I love that choice, man. This Beach Boy here, this is my first time doing a Beach Boy segment, and this guy, I don't even know if he makes it up to the status of Beach Boy at this moment. He is available everywhere. If you want to play him, do. If you play him, are you nuts? Probably. Marvin Mims. We're going to call him Monday Mims. He is coming to play the Bills on Monday night. And let me tell you, Marvin's he's been running routes, and he's been covering ground mostly to go find a nice drink for his boys. Maybe get some towels and lay him out nice. He's definitely spent time out there combing the sand and going about it. But He's not been getting the touches at 40%. At 40% involvement and usage last week. I shouldn't say usage. At 40% snap count against Kansas City, he was out there. He's just not getting a lot of plays. But Denver's had a chance to go into a bye week, and they've had a chance to say, let's draw up some plays for our rookie here. We know this kid can make plays. He's having to earn it. He's having to earn it off the field. He's having to earn it with not making mental mistakes. He's having to earn it with all of those different things. But a week off, I think we're going to see Marvin come out, and they're going to tell Russell to throw it as far as he can. And I'd like to see that land in the hands of Marvin Mims.
I would love to see that, man. These rookie, I made a trade with Smitty in a dynasty, so I figured I was just going to select it so they can go off. My Beach Boy is going to be a rookie too. Josh Downs, let's roll. It's why not? These rookies, it's about the time that rookies start learning how to play in the NFL a little bit there. And Smitty, I think we already know. You already said yours in the other take, right, on who you're going for your Beach Boy?
Yeah, Kyle Phillips. Like, I'm really hoping that this little story of them becoming friends as number twos, Will Levis and Kyle Phillips, have actually developed. In Tampa Bay, those games tend to be shootouts, so he's going to need somebody reliable if D-Hop is locked up, you know? He's going to need a second option, and if it ain't Chig, it's got to be Phillips, right? So, I mean, the reason I even mention him is because you're in dynasty leagues with all kinds of bye weeks. I have to throw him out there in one of these leagues. So, here's like what do you say, a vote of confidence here? Yeah, a vote of confidence. Kind of.
I love it, man. Double down on your pre-call in the future. It's absolutely fantastic, guys. Someone hit us up with, hold on. Not working. Someone hit us up with a message I want to go real quick over. And it was, who is your alter ego as a coach in the NFL right now? I thought this was such a cool question, and it was about your mentality of who you are as a fantasy player and kind of as a person. Let's hit this real quick. Kaz, who is your alter ego as a coach?
I'm going to go with Dan Campbell, man. He's a straight shooter. He plays with his heart. He fights to win, and he's buff. So Dan Campbell, he's my boy.
Dude, he is, I don't want to fight him, man. We talked about him like podcast 2 or 3 or something, Commish. I know you listened to it, but who you got in this one?
Yeah, I've got to go with Andy Reid here. And this is really a Corona Couch coach's specific call because we've got this crazy scoring format. Loving it, by the way. And as everybody knows, I love playing my tight ends. So I really quickly looked at who's putting the 13 personnel out there the most. And it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And therefore, that's who I'm going to emulate because I'm loving my 13 and 14 and 15 personnel packages this season. And so Andy Reid, love it, man. Keep throwing those big guys out there.
Bro, you're nailing it. You're absolutely nailing it because the one thing about getting to know you, Tony, is you embrace being a father and you embrace a dad. And you know what? You picked a coach that's got a dad bod, bro. So you got the dad bod. It's perfect, man. It's just like it's spot on, brother. Who is your alter ego, Smitty?
You know what? I wish I hate the answer about to give, but I also love it because it gets the shot on too. I'm going Kyle Shanahan for one reason and one reason only. So at the beginning of the year, it was very obvious that Joe Burrow was hurt, and I should have either traded for a replacement quarterback or just kept throwing him out there, like Kyle Shanahan seemed to do with Brock Purdy while he has a mental concussion. Like, are we both idiots for just wanting to play these endangered people? I mean, it really screwed me over, and it's currently screwing the 69ers over. So me and Shanahan are just both a bunch of idiots. Did you hear that? Shanahan's an idiot.
Clearly.
I officially, for the first time in my life, don't even have a response to that. Cassidy, can you talk for me, please?
I'll just tell you guys I think we can prove that that's not an accurate statement. It's just objectively false.
Oh my God, Smitty, I freaking love you. But my guys, so the coach I went with was Mike McDaniel.
Nice.
And I'll tell you why, man. I am in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm a bougie motherfucker. I love to dress well. I love watches. And this dude, how Miami does it get to sit on the sideline in scrubs with a Rolex Daytona, $225,000 watch on his hand, just blinging out, dude. Every time I see that, he gets the shades going. I'm out there. I'm like, you know what? You are one bougie fool, brother. So Mike McDaniel's bouginess is 100% mine. Guys, I love those picks. That's fantastic. Let's draft, guys. I've been waiting for this draft for a while, and I know Tony's not a big, Marvel comic book hero. You send out some BS in this damn thing that Marvel movies suck, and we basically blew you up because they are freaking awesome, homie. So let's draft, boys. We're drafting best comic, Marvel, DC, hero movies. And Saw is not allowed to be a hero movie, even though we have claimed that Jigsaw is a hero. Let's roll. Cassidy, you're on the 101.
All right, dude. If I'm going to go 101, I'm going to go ahead and take the Avengers Infinity War. Okay? Because that is the ultimate climax to a 4-part series with all of the heroes. You get them all and all of their stories and all of their sagas all coming together in one fantastic climax. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and you're going to want more. So, at the 101, Infinity War.
Woo!
Perfect.
I think that was a clear 101, bro. That was the clear
the
101, dude. So, yeah, 100%. Who we got on the 102? I got a little lower here. So we got I'm on the 102. All right. So the 102, I'm going to take, you know what, it's probably not the clear 102, but it is my 101. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, baby, is one of the funniest friggin' movies I have ever seen. That movie is hot. Music, they nailed the music in Volume 2. It was, man. That was fantastic. So 102. So we've got next on the list.
It's me. And I'm
Smitty,
so
let's go with 103.
I'm so happy you let this drop because unfortunately you did include DC into this. And so my 101, even though I am at 103, is The Dark
Yes.
Knight. You either become the hero or see yourself become the villain. I may have ruined that, but yes, The Dark Knight. Oh my God! Thank you for letting that fall.
That's solid.
I know it's on my list. I knew it wouldn't get back to me, but you know what? I could not live if I didn't have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I just couldn't do it.
That. Oh no, I felt that for sure.
Yeah, so you would have sniped me. So Commish, what you got? And hey, Cass, can you write this down? I don't got a pen for some reason. So
I mean, Smitty sniped this one for me. I didn't think it was going to last 4. I really, The Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight really is just an amazing film. I love the way that was made. And when it comes to my comment about superhero movies, I really have seen a lot of superhero movies I could do without, but that one was fantastic. I love your pick there, Smitty. But I'm going to shift gears a little bit here, and I'm going to go to a very recent film. This is a superhero movie that I went out to see with my wife, and I can't say that about most of the movies on this list. I thought it was a game changer. I thought it was mature. I thought that a lot of the themes and conversations within it, represented something new. So I'm going to take the Black Panther with my first pick here. And then I'm going to follow that up because I've got kids, and I don't get to watch all of these. They're pretty violent for me, a little bit violent for a 4 and 5-year-old. So I'm going to pull out The Incredibles as my top of the round 2 pick here because they're superheroes and they're a cartoon, and really love what I'm building here.
You would have that wouldn't have gotten back to you, I promise you, because that is an incredible movie. What you got on the 202, Smitty?
First off, very respectable draft. Jesus Christ, Tony. God
that's strong.
Great. I'm gonna go with Avengers Endgame. I am. It's still there.
Endgame? Got it.
Yeah.
Half the people friggin' die in that movie, dude. It's absolutely unreal, man. That's fuck. I got sniped. Now
you're
I'm
not
so
even
mad.
exaggerating. Literally half.
I know, dude. I totally was really hoping that got back to me, but that was a solid snipe. All right, if I gotta go with, I got to do it. Let's go Deadpool, dude. That movie's hilarious. Let's keep the theme of my draft going. I'm drafting some funny movies. Let's go. Yeah, Deadpool. Let's roll.
Dude, Deadpool is so good. Here, hold on.
No. Oh no!
It's so good.
I remember everybody talking about how funny it is. That movie's so funny. Look at this movie. It's so funny. I went and I hardly laughed because the jokes were all so basic.
Oh, you know what? I slightly can't disagree. You know, some of them are. Some of them are.
I don't know. That movie was fantastic. Cash, you're fit to close out the second round, and then you're up on the double pick.
Man, this is so freaking hard. What am I going to do here at the turn? Okay. I liked... What's the name of the first of the Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale's? Was that The Dark Knight?
That was The Dark Knight Rises.
No, wait. Because you already got Dark Knight Rises. Oh, okay. That's the first of the series?
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
I think it's The Dark Knight, then The Dark Knight Rises, and then...
No, guys. It's Batman
No,
Begins.
do I have it all backwards?
It's Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, then number 3 is The Dark Knight Rises.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking. So Batman Begins is where I'm going with to top off the third round.
So that's the one he climbs out of like the well, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
3. That's number 3.
That one I remember was just like, for me, it was a paradigm shift of the other Batman movies that I'd ever seen. It was the first like dark, real, kind of relatable, oh man, this guy's a deep, complex character. He's not just like this superhero or just this like comic book. There's more to him. So Batman Begins, is that right? Is that what we said it's called? Yeah.
Yep.
The first one?
Yeah, and then the next one.
So those
what was that?
That is when they unveiled a very dark character there. So who you got on the turn? We'll close this out.
And then the next one is Thor Ragnarok.
We're going. Oh!
Wow, good pick.
Yeah, that's the top of the third round.
Oh man, you absolutely crushed me there. I would have taken that one. Since you took those, you actually sniped two of mine. I'm going to just go with an absolute favorite of mine, and I watched this movie a lot. Constantine, let's go. Keanu Reeves.
Wow.
There is nothing better in this world than a movie about the fight between heaven and hell, and Keanu Reeves in the middle of it, going from hell back, fighting them, and then giving the devil the middle finger on the way to heaven was absolutely incredible. Smitty, who you got on your next pick?
I forgot about this scene. I'm gonna watch that like as soon as we're done. Wow.
Greatest scene ever when he flips him off. It is
what
epic.
Was that one called again, Brian?
Oh, I freaking.
Constantine.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Is that a Keanu Reeves movie? Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do a follow up to your 101, Brian. I freaking love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Are you
that's good.
Oh my god! And I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying I adore that movie. So I'm going to take Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to for my third round pick.
Dude, strong draft. Tony, close us out real quick here. Just let's close it out.
Yeah, I've got some options on the board here still, and really excited about where I'm sitting. I wish I had a few extra picks, but I'm going to go with a Frank Miller classic. I don't know if this was even included in the.
We'll include it.
Uh-oh. Can you hear him?
I can't, actually.
So he has forfeited his pick. The draft is now over. Tony gets 3. It's just the way this is going to work. So way to go, Commish. Hey, Commish, can you talk?
Yeah, I just had to cut out a call there. Sorry about that.
You got to start over.
Just hit us with what it is.
All right, Sin City, thrilled to have that pick. And,
that's a good one.
I'm definitely going to have some picks to talk about later, and for me, it's between two classics here. One of these is a real classic. It to me harkens back to the day of my trying to be like the tape catcher type. But I really have to go with the movie that I first watched many times during the 1990s, and why this movie? Why many times? Was it a success in the box office? Not really. but to me, it was kind of that Iron Man play, that up and away. So I'm going to go with the Rocketeer.
Woo!
Howard Hughes. We've got the Nazis. We've got everything here. So I'm going with the Rocketeer. It's a classic. It's an oldie. It's a personal entry on this list. I haven't even seen the movie in 2 decades, but man, I was thrilled to put it on this list.
Oh my God, Tony, absolutely fantastic draft, brother man. We are so glad we had you on the show. Thank you for letting us run a little bit long league because Tony, fantastic, man. Great job on what you're saying. We absolutely love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Cassidy, recap that draft for our audiences real quick, and we'll let this one end.
All right, I guess I'll do it by team then. So I've got the Avengers, Infinity War, Batman Begins, and Thor Ragnarok. Okay? Now, Brian's got Guardian of... What was that?
That's going to be tough, dude. That's a good draft.
Thank you. I'm pretty excited about that. These are all strong teams. Brian has Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He's got Deadpool and Constantine. Okay? Then you've got Carl coming in with Dark Knight Rises, The Avengers Endgame, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And Tony shutting it down with the Black Panther, The Incredibles, Sin City, and The Rocketeer.
Yeah, I snuck in a 4th round. Thanks, guys.
That's awesome. All right, anyone got any last words? Please, league, vote. Tony, you're the commissioner. Put up a friggin' poll on who wins this draft, please. Any last words, Commish, coming from you right now? Last thing you want to tell your audience?
Fantasy BS show. Thank you for having me. It was a thrill to join. I can't wait to see some of our other CCC members crack it onto this show as well one day. Wink, wink. Again, thanks, guys. Keep doing what you're doing, and can't wait to watch your next episode.
You got it, brother. Cheers. All right, everyone, enjoy. I want to let you know we are drafting NFL coaches in different roles of corporate America next year. Cheers. Thank you for your time.
Nice. That's fun.